Hi, welcome to Lady Z Speaks. This is the video review for blog number 27, Build Back Better. And if you remember, I do these video reviews on the third Friday of the month to coincide with the blog that comes out on the first Friday, First Lady Fridays, to add a little more context and discussion around the written blog and to add some practicality to it. So let's get right to it. Blog number 27. The scripture that I had was out of First Corinthians, and that's so Paul's talking about being disciplined. So he says, "So I run with purpose in every step. I am not just shadow boxing. I discipline my body like an athlete, training it to do what it should. Otherwise, I fear that after preaching to others myself, I might be disqualified." So that's First Corinthians 9:26 and 27. And here's the message. Basically, Paul's just saying that he's got to stay disciplined in his body and his ministry, so that his work is not in vain. So he's actually living out what he preaches, right? So in short, we're talking about here not just going through the motions, but actually practicing what we preach. And that's really what I want to talk to us about, just the discipline part of this and the routine and consistency. And these are things that I really, for this first quarter of the year, January, February, March, is what I've been really focused on, making sure that we are prepared to move and operate in purpose. And that involves, helps us stay on track with our targets and with our goals, and staying consistent and making sure we're equipped but also qualified to do the work that we're supposed to be doing, or the goals that we want to accomplish, or whatever our purpose is. And so hopefully, as we are hearing a similar message from different aspects within the Bible, equating that to our own life, it's encouraging us and giving us some tips and some tricks and some encouragement and some motivation to be able to build some better habits and really move forward in purpose. So I really want us to refocus and recommit to disciplined behavior. And I talk a lot about how at the beginning of the year we're all gung-ho, we have all these lists of goals, and I want to accomplish this, and new year, new me, and resolutions. And now we're at the end of the quarter, and I wonder how closely we have held to those goals that we wanted to accomplish, and those new routines and those disciplines, right? And if we have fallen off, that's okay. You can always get back on, or adjust what we want to accomplish, or take a step back and really just kind of think through and analyze and evaluate, is this really what I wanted to do? I've fallen off. Is this the right path? Just what does that look like? So I encourage us to do that anyway, quarterly or monthly, just kind of recalibrate on some things. And I know we all know the things, if you don't make a plan, you plan to fail. And motivation gets you started, discipline keeps you going. And if you don't have discipline, then your goals aren't goals, they're just dreams. We all know these kind of catchphrases, and people are saying them over and over, and it sounds good, but what is the practical application of this discipline, of these routines? How do I build better habits? How do I start over, right? So I wanted to kind of get into a little bit today, and that's just, this is from my perspective, my advice, some things that I have, learned to put into place. And the first step is figuring out what your life's purpose is, or what your purpose for this quarter or for this year is, right? And just taking a step back, and I think I've said this before, and really thinking through, what are the skills that God has given me? What are the gifts that God has given me? What do I actually enjoy doing? And how can I put that together so it's a purpose or a vision, statement? And so mine involves helping and influencing others to be their best selves, and being leading by example in certain things, physical health and mental health and spiritual health. And if I say that these are things that we should be doing, I have to make sure I'm living that out and living by example, right? And so that's kind of how I have shaped my mission or vision statement around being my best self and encouraging others to do that in whatever aspects, and sharing my experiences through being transparent. And so, I've tailored that over the years, and I add to it, and I take away from it. But that tends to be the North Star for me, which includes different things at different times. Like one time I may be focused more on the physical health. One time I may, for a couple months, I may be focused more on the spiritual health, or I may be doing leadership development stuff, right? But it's all kind of guided to that North Star. So we have to take some time and be clear on what our purpose is. The next step is where people get a little uneasy about, and I debate with friends about it, but it's about the discipline and the routine. And I think some people rebel against the word routine because it gives us a sense of like constraint. And sometimes it does get a little boring and redundant to do the same thing all the time. And that's not really what I mean when I say be disciplined and routine. It's more about just having intentionality to what you want to accomplish. And it's not saying that every single hour of your day has to be scheduled out, but there should be certain activities or things that you want to accomplish during the day, and just planning to make sure that you get those in. And so I kind of want to talk about how to build that in with some flexibility so that it's not overwhelming, but that so that there is some accomplishment that comes after that, right? And so the first thing I would suggest is just starting small and building pockets of routine into your schedule. So like I said, it's not where you're building out your whole day hour by hour. Wake up, work out, pray, work, drink water, journal, answer, like not everything, because that just sounds overwhelming and doesn't leave room for flexibility. But just identify one thing that you want to have a routine or be more disciplined about. Is that, I want to have this pocket of time set aside for prayer every day, or I want to have this pocket of time set aside for me to work out or take a walk, or I want to make sure that I'm drinking water every hour. So these are my examples, right? Add your own in, but just like one thing at a time. And as you build that habit, then you can add on other things that you want to do, but start small so that you're not overwhelming yourself trying to bite too much at a time. The second thing is to be mindful of the routine and the ambition and how that influence your day. And so not focusing on just the schedule itself, but what you want to accomplish. And so if, for example, I say I am going to read for 30 minutes a day, at 2 o'clock or 12, or let's just say 12 during my lunch break, but now I can't do that. Don't be so thrown off that you can't do it, at 12. Just adjust, and maybe you do it in the evening. So not so focused and beholden to the schedule, but more so the end result, right? And so that's where that flexibility in, which leads to my third point of allowing flex time. And as we're building out our routines and our days become more, jam-packed with things, scheduling your downtime, scheduling your self-care time. And if it's your transition between, getting off work and then the evening, set aside, that hour to just do nothing. Or maybe that's when you do something else that's for self-care, but that's not a routine time, right? I know from 5 to 7, I just have this free time to do whatever I want. I can take a nap, I can go for a walk, I can work out, whatever it is, but just building in that flex time so you do have some flexibility there. And then accept that some routines and habits, are not for you. So for example, my alarm goes off at about 4:45 most days of the week. That may not be for you, right? That's my thing. I need to work out in the morning. Yours may look different. And this is especially too for people that have, kids, and they have, different other people to consider. It's me and my husband, and we have jam-packed schedules, but it's just kind of us kind of navigating the space and meetings and Bible studies and workouts and all of these things. But, add kids to that, add, other things to that, your routine is going to look a lot different than mine. That doesn't mean that you don't have one. It just means that it looks different. And, I like to use, people for examples, but like my brother, he's got three, him and his wife are 30. They've got three kids under the age of 9. But, he was an athlete his entire life. And he's like, I haven't been able to get a routine and get back to doing it. And so now he added his workout routine to the morning. That's when he can do it, but it gets him a chance to get up, have some quiet time before the world gets crazy, right? So just figuring out what that looks like for you. And then the last one is pretty important to me, I think, but surrounding yourself with people that are also committed to self-improvement. And that doesn't mean that they have to do the same thing. They don't have to have the same purpose. They don't have to, have the same routine, but just people that have the same mentality and mindset. And so I have a group of friends who, we have these accountability group texts, chats, and sometimes we share our goals or what we're working on for the month, but just having people that can hold you accountable, or that you can kind of talk through routines and adjustments and all of that with, kind of helps with that discipline piece, especially when you tend to lack the motivation to do what you need to do. There's always this group of people around you that are encouraging, that are kind of working towards the self-improvement. So those are some things that I would consider doing as we're thinking about building better habits. Whatever you want to do, start small, focus on the action and not the schedule. Allow flex time, understand that everything is not for you, and surrounding yourself with quality people. And you might be thinking, like, what does this have to do with the scripture? But a lot of what Paul is talking about in the New Testament is being disciplined and focusing on the end purpose. His purpose was to tell as many people as he could about Jesus the Christ. That's our purpose too. And we're also here on earth to do work. The Bible talks about doing our work as if we're doing it for the Lord. And so what does that work look like for you? And how can we be more disciplined into completing the assignment? So that's it. Make sure we're recommitting to building back better. So breaking bad habits and building new ones. So thanks for listening. This is Lady Z Speaks. Remember to keep an eye out for the next blog, first of the month, first Friday of the month, First Lady Friday. So thanks for listening. Like, comment, share, subscribe to my page, and I will see you guys in a couple weeks.